Yeah, welcome to the Brown Boy Wonder Podcast. Reviews and reactions. Let's go. It's the Brown Boy Wonder. Hold it down, representing for the culture. Every episode brings you closer into the mind and the heart of a hustler, where the truth and the groove collide. Stay tuned in, come enjoy the ride. Keep it authentic like that, never hold back. It's the Brown Boy Wonder Podcast. The Brown Boy Wonder Podcast. Subscribe, share, and stay tuned in. The vibe's always on.
Brown Boy Wonder Podcast Rewatch Series presents Survivor with Brown Boy Wonder and Daniel McGee.
We are back with Survivor Season 1. Man, we're done, episodes 4, 5, 6. Joel, Dirk, and Ramona are out of here, off the island. Mm-hmm. And we're getting into episode 7, the merger. But before we do that, let me introduce my guest, who's been here since Survivor episode 1. Daniel, how are you doing today?
Both literally and figuratively, because I've been watching Survivor since it first aired. I watched this with my dad in the year 2000. So both when we were recording it, episode 1, and when episode 1 was happening, I've been here since episode 1.
Fantastic. Well, that's good. That's a touching story, because we're about to get into some touching stories in these 3 episodes here.
Are we? I guess there's some.
There is some. Let's get into episode 7. They've been talking about for the longest time, the merger.
The merge, baby.
All right.
The episode's called The Merger, but they typically in the fan base just call it The Merge.
Oh, The Merge. Okay. It's like all right. So Sean and Jenna were sent to the opposing tribes camps to see how they're living, and they have to decide on which camp to live on. The Tangi camp, they are really organized, while the Pangong are not.
It's, I don't know, it's almost less that the Tagi tribe is more organized and more that they've been winning. So they have all of the rewards there still. Yeah. Right? And between that and the fact that they haven't had to, spend all this time going to tribal council and voting people off and doing that. Well, no, I guess they have. Because up to the merger, it's been 50-50 in terms of tribal councils. So never mind. It's just that they've been winning a lot of the reward challenges.
Right.
Yeah. So it's just a nicer camp.
Yeah, it is.
They've got it set up where it's like they've got like their sleeping quarters, and then they've got like a living room. Or no, it goes sleeping quarters. No, yeah, sleeping quarters, kitchen, or living room, kitchen, and then he says bathroom.
Yeah,
and all I could think was like, you have your kitchen directly next to where you poop. Why? How close do you think that is? Do you think they can smell the poop when the wind goes the wrong way?
Yes. I mean, it is very close. The thing is,
you're probably right.
Shouldn't they spread out the rooms?
The poop?
Yeah, the poop at least.
I don't know. The thing is, like, normally in camping situations like that, if you are using a sort of hole in the ground style latrine, you'll move it every now and then. You'll basically fill it in and dig a new hole. But I mean, these days they just poop in the ocean. So I don't know.
Well, they are looking at each other's camp, and the Tangi's camp is looking great. Gretchen's very excited about this merge. She said, "I'm excited about being a part of a big group because right now there's not a lot of personalities going on, and it's been quiet. I'm excited to meet new people, either it's good or bad, or whatever. It's something." And I agree. More the merrier.
Yes, sir.
Richard said, we got a merge tonight. We'll see what happens. So Rich, Sue, Kelly, and Rudy weighed their voting options. If they would eliminate the Pangong of getting rid of Sean, they'll do it because they don't like Sean. Susan said the reason Sean is not in our alliance because he's dumb.
I mean, he's not dumb. He's a doctor, but in terms of gameplay, he's just like he's just not really playing it the way that the game is. I think at this point meant to be played.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of those people where he is anti-alliance. Like he just wants to play the game and see what happens, which is a choice, I guess. I don't know. Doesn't seem like a way to win to me.
Yeah, he has his method. He'll tell us soon. How he votes.
What a dork.
After visiting the camps, Sean and Jenna then paddled to the sand spit for the summit to compare both camps to decide on which two camps to live on. All right. Also, Jarvis says, Sean's a cool guy. Rudy's like, I'm Rudy. I'm old. Upon arrival at the sand spit, the ambassadors were welcomed by Jeff Prost, where they revealed that they will have to be there overnight to decide on which camp should we live on. And dude, they live a luxurious life.
Lux. They got all kinds of food. There's lobster. There's I can't remember if it was champagne or wine, but like there's alcohol. And then at the end of the night, because like you said, they're there overnight. They crawl drunkenly into a seemingly, compared to the bamboo shack they've been living in, a pretty nice like tent that has full on beds in it.
Good.
Honestly, it's kind of its own reward challenge, and they didn't really have to do anything to earn it. So I don't know. It's interesting.
Imagine you were sleeping on like horrible beds, the sand. And now you're on the bed. It must be good.
Yeah, I mean, it must be really nice, honestly.
Jenna thought it was like a romantic setting because the way they set up the dinner table.
Yeah.
Like, ooh.
I mean, anytime that you are at a dinner with just two people, it's going to kind of have that vibe. But then when it's also like, it's candlelit and there's lobster and there's these two beds and it's on this cute beach, like, it's going to be a little extra awkward. But I don't think there's any shot of it being actually romantic. I don't know what their marital status is at this time, but I know Jenna has kids.
Yes.
So she's presumably in a relationship. That might be presuming too much, but that seems to be the case. I don't know, actually.
Well, Sean couldn't riz her up because she said there's no spark.
There's no spark.
At night.
Honestly, all he had to do is like, I'm a doctor, and she would have been like, okay, that's gonna bump it up at least a point.
Something. It reminded me of I don't know if you watched Squid Game, but it's like the ending of Squid Game where they're all on the at the dinner table eating like fresh
spoilers.
food.
I'm just kidding. No, I haven't watched Squid Game.
Well, at the end of the show, pretty much the last three survivors enjoyed like a really nice meal after being in this horrible game. Kind of reminded me of that. You should watch it. It's good. The season 2 is coming out.
I will at some point, I'm sure. But first, I have to watch Mr. Beast's version because I want to see the real thing.
Okay. So, Mr. Beast is in a lot of hot trouble recently.
Yeah, I don't actually know what for, but it doesn't matter.
It's something. While enjoying the night at the sand spit, Jenna asked Sean to light up the large bonfire to greet the other tribe mates back to the camp.
Yeah. They she mentions like that they can see the Pagong beach, and they can see the fire still burning, which implies that they're still awake to her, which is weird to me because I can't imagine why you would want to put the fire out like when you go to bed. I would leave that burning all night, so I don't know what that's about.
It should be cold.
Yeah, and also like the fire will keep away animals and bugs to an extent. Well, maybe not bugs, but definitely animals. So I don't know. The implication there is strange to me, but she's like, hey, throw this kerosene on the fire to make a big explosion so they know that I'm okay. And it's like, so your thought is they can see us out here a little bit, like they can see our fire.
Mm-hmm.
In order to let them know that we're okay out here, let's create a bomb. And then when they see the bomb go off, they'll be like, she's doing great. That's how they'll know. Is as soon as they see that like something dangerous has happened, then they'll know everything's great, actually.
Hey man,
What?
as long as she's alive, it's good. I mean, you never know. Sean might kill her.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess they don't know Sean. He could be a
No.
serial killer. It wouldn't be
He
the
went-
first Doctor to be a serial killer.
Ooh, that's true.
I think Hannibal
Rain
was a doctor
uh,
or something. Is Hannibal Lecter a doc? It doesn't matter.
Hannibal. No, I don't think so. I don't think he is. Rain started to fall afterwards while Sean and Jenna are drunk with wine, so they slept with being drunk. At Pongong, Jervis and Gretchen became frustrated on why they were not given further information about the merch yet. Jenna is still missing.
He was a psychiatrist, which is kind of a doctor.
A little bit.
Sorry, go on. I was researching a fictional serial killer.
He is, hey, come on, Halloween is over.
Yeah, sorry. That was a full 8 days ago or whatever.
Yeah, Gretchen and Jarvis is like kind of mad because they miss Jenna and they haven't got any news yet. Greg is like, I've been wasting my time and energy. I guess what's happening, so I don't even bother what's going on. It's a beautiful day. The sun's nice. You can see Mount Kinabalu. I'm going to go fishing. I would say, at least last episode, Greg is completely psycho.
Yeah. Yeah. We haven't gotten to, in my opinion, the most psychotic moment that we see. But it's coming.
It's coming. It's coming.
The dude's a loon.
At Tangi, everyone became worried of what's to come. Richard and Susan are getting a little worried. Back to Pongong, Jenna and Sean arrived at camp where they were told the tribe that they have only 5 minutes to gather their belongings and luxury items and bring 3 of their supplies before moving into the Tangi beach. So they picked the Tagi beach for their final destination.
It felt like a pretty foregone conclusion. I mean, the Tagi Beach was way nicer. It had all of the rewards already there. It would have been a lot more difficult to move the things that Tagi had built than it would be to move the Pagong stuff.
True. Yeah, Pagong they didn't have a home. They were just spread out pretty much.
Yeah, it was kind of a mess. Greg had been sleeping on a rat's nest in the forest for however many days. So,
they brought dude. I feel like him and Greg. They're not good.
Mm-hmm.
They brought the mosquito nets and cooking pot and their blankets at the new beach. They also revealed that the new tribe name will be called Ratatana.
Ratana.
Ratana. But I was like, man, is that a Pokemon?
That's Rattata.
Rattata.
Close.
Yeah, a little bit. Because they said because of the abundance of rotten. How do you say it?
Rats?
Rats. Yes, rats.
What?
Trees.
Wait. I don't know. The abundance of what?
Abundance of Rattan. Rattan?
Rattan? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. From trees?
Well, yeah, that's what's called for trees on the island.
We're doing a Google. Stay tuned.
Rattan. Rattan.
Rattan is the thin, pliable stems of a palm tree used to make furniture. Wow.
Oh.
Good to know. It looks like wicker. I will look up how to make furniture out of rattan, and then when I'm on Survivor, I will become an interior decorator.
They'll love you.
Or hate me.
That's true.
Daniel, stop building ottomans. We need fish.
You're just building.
I think I can make a Shea lounge. No, we need coconuts
and food. Jenna said, actually, Sean let me do almost of the deciding. I came up with the name. He added an A on the end. So Sean is lazy.
He added a whole letter. That's what, 10% of that word? Think about that.
Yeah. He said he gave it some flair or pizzazz. I guess.
Something like that.
Greg. Oh no. Greg became annoyed with the two ambassadors talk too much about at their stay. He said, they come back having a great night. Oh my god. I can't wait to tell you guys how much I've eaten. He's like, dude, okay, we get it. We've been eating fish here.
Yeah, I feel like it should be just obvious that if you go back to a place where people have not been eating much, if anything, your first words out of your mouth from this great trip should not be, oh my god, I ate so much, had such a great time. Like, they don't want to hear that.
I agree.
That's not going to make them happy. Jealousy is not a way to get people on your side.
No, sir. I think this is the only part I agree with Greg here, I guess. The only part.
The moment in which it behaves like a rational human being for 1 second.
Jervis was also saying the same thing. Colleen says Sean was even saying there's enough room for us in the hunch because enough people sleep outside, so it's going to be quick. God, I hope it goes quick from here and out. Colleen is de-stressing. After packing the remaining members of Pangong, and Sean paddled to the Tongi Beach. Greggy says, it's starting over. We're leaving the Pangong Beach. We left a lot of memories there. We literally settled there, and now we have to leave. After arriving to the old Tagi camp, Pangong was welcomed by Richard. Pangong was amazed about how organized Tongi Beach was. Colleen is like, dude, Richard swam to us and greeted us. He's a nice guy.
That's all it takes. He said hello, and therefore I like him.
Jenna said they welcome us with open arms. Greg says a boy named Sue, strong, loud, and with an accent that will drive you up the wall. So he doesn't like Sue.
No, and neither do you. So you must agree with him, right?
No. I like Sue now. After these episodes, I'm like, all right, she's a strong lady. I got it. I don't like her. I mean, I used to don't like her, but now I like her. You need a person like her.
We've seen the light. Sue's a lot of fun. She's chaos, and I would never want to like spend time with her maybe in the real world, but she's great for TV.
Absolutely. And also in upcoming episodes, she comes really close to the camera. Like it just says her face on the testimony.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah.
Just too close.
She's aggressively close, and I'm uncomfortable with some of it. She's like in it.
Yeah. Rudy became annoyed about their murder, saying that there's been an increase of tribe population. It's a pain in my ass. Or in the ass.
Yeah. He complains because it's like, he's like, there's less room in the sleeping quarters. Everyone's eating food. Blah, blah, blah. Like, he really is just like, God, it's just like, this used to be a nice neighborhood is like the general vibe of what he's saying. And it's annoying. It's really annoying to be like, hey, we're almost halfway through the game now, and now I have to feed these people. I don't know. I will never understand Rudy, like, as a person, I guess.
At all. They're all welcoming each other. Colleen says Sean is pretty intelligent. Greg is like, Rich is clever. So they're all getting to know each other. The women noticed about the old Tangi shelter, noticing that there's not a lot of work ethic. So the ladies worked on the shelter while the guys just relaxed.
Yeah, it's really funny because there's multiple times in I think this episode and the next one where they're like, the boys are lazy, and then they cut to what appears to be the same card game between Jervis and Richard. Yeah. It's just like, how long did they play that game, dude? How much B-roll did you get of them playing like Go Fish or whatever?
The entire time. Richard's like really excited about the game every time he's been playing. You seem like how he's like a orangutan, he's just laying down. This hairy ass body. Again, I hate Richard.
Yeah, he's rough, and it's not going to get better.
So Jervis and Richard are getting along. Greg, on the other hand, tried to fish, but it's not as much as Richard does it, because Greg says, Greg's an interesting character. He's young too. He's 24. He's pretty cocky. Ooh. He was thinking he could go out and get something and come back, but he was laughing pretty much on his fishing skills. During the night, the tribe circled around the bonfire and they told revealing stories while Rudy was like uninterested and walked away. Rudy said, some of the stuff they talked about didn't interest me. I don't want to hear it. I don't know. They talk about sex stuff.
Honestly, most relatable thing Rudy's ever said. I don't like these people. They're talking about wieners. Yeah. Yeah, I get that, Rudy.
Rudy. Later that night, the rain started to happen. Rudy, on the other hand, became grumpy while he discovered that most of the women were snuggling at him while sleeping at last night. While Gretchen, Jenna, and Colleen rebutted that Rudy awkwardly was sleeping and kicking their heads.
Rudy was just kicking people in the face.
Damn. Ugh, imagine old feet, dirty feet hitting your head.
No, absolutely not.
Colleen said Rudy was kicking me in the head. He doesn't care. Oh man, shouldn't they not be in the same place? Maybe go out a little bit. I don't know. Rudy said, the pillows were across me, and I had to get up and go, and I hit someone's head. So I'm sorry. Hey, I'm an old guy. Don't forget, them young guys might have liked it. It's a pain in my ass to me. All right. Enough with Rudy here. Before the immunity challenge, Jeff congratulated them for making the merge. He revealed the future challenges will be an individual base. So, and whoever wins those immunity challenge will get a necklace, and they will not be voted off on the next tribal council.
Yeah, so this starts the old tradition of individual immunity idols as necklaces. Mm-hmm. And this is something that the Survivor fan base will go back and forth on, is of like, what are the best looking immunity necklaces? And this one is never brought up. It is.
I liked it.
It's fine. It's just pretty boring, honestly. It's like a little wooden tiki face on a string, basically, with a couple of rocks and shells, and that's the entire thing. There's some ones that get really elaborate. The one for the current season, season 47, is like their theming is all like bat motifs, and so the immunity necklace is this like huge like winged like bat skeleton, and it looks kind of stupid, but also way cooler than this.
Okay. Yeah, it is simple. Maybe, I don't know, I like it because it's just simple. You don't need much of it.
That's fair.
Alright, the challenge. The immunity challenge. Snake Island Relay. But before they do that, all 10 castaways submerge themselves underwater to see how long they can hold their breath. Dude, freaking who did it?
It was Jervis.
Yeah, Jervis. So
the man who can't swim lasted the longest underwater.
That's crazy.
Is genuinely baffling.
I think
when I was watching this back, because I watched this, I think last year was the most recent time that I've watched Survivor Borneo. And I was just like, there's no, like, even though I'd watched it semi-recently, I was like, there's no way. There's no way Jervis can do this. He's going to be first out. No. Nah.
Dude, he was holding his breath for like 2.5 minutes, I think.
And then when everyone else was up, he is start count like he's mean mugging. He's like counting off seconds before he goes back up. He beat a Navy SEAL.
Yeah.
Granted, a couple people beat the Navy SEAL. He actually dropped out sooner than I thought he would.
No. But shout out to Jarvis, man. The top 3 castaways had another competition of releasing what's it called? Buoys? Buoys, excuse me.
It's not spelled the way that it's said.
Yeah. Along a ladder submerged underwater. So they gotta throw those things out underwater in the ladder. The first castaway to release all of the 10 will win the immunity. And the winner was Greg.
Gregory.
He cannot be voted off for the next tribal council. But yeah, let's get into the tribal council here.
How well do you think you would have done in this challenge? Both sections of it. Like, do you think you would have been able to hold your breath for the like minute 30 that they were holding theirs?
Hell no. I don't think I have enough cardio for that. Maybe I can last 10 seconds.
I think for me, it would come down to whether or not I thought I was safe in the vote that night. Because if I thought that was a holding your breath challenge for $1 million,
yeah,
I think I could beat 1.5 minutes or 2 minutes. It would feel like shit, but I think I could do it. If I felt safe, I don't think I would have the motivation to keep myself underwater. You know?
Yeah, I think when Sean got up from that challenge, he was all red. He could not.
Yeah.
He was like couldn't breathe.
And he's a fit guy.
Yeah.
I think at that point it becomes a mental thing more than anything else.
Absolutely. Maybe Rudy, maybe 10 years ago, he could have won the challenge.
He absolutely would have. Navy SEALs train specifically that kind of thing, I'm sure. So,
yeah, he's just too old to do that now.
Yeah.
All right. Tribal Council here. At Tribal Council, the former Pugons and Sean made the crucial mistake of splitting their votes, while Tagi Alliance of Sue, Rich, Kelly, and Rudy cast all their votes for Gretchen, who was deemed the leader of the former Pygon tribe. Gretchen was surprised that she was voted off with a 4-1-1-1-1-1-1 votes.
This is the most chaotic vote in terms of how the votes come out of all time. The fact that the 4 people are like, yes, let's get rid of Gretchen, and not a single other person can agree on who they're voting for. Mm-hmm. Like, I think every single person able to receive a vote got a vote today, except maybe Kelly? Is that right? Yeah, I think so. I think the only person who did not receive a vote in this episode was Kelly. 4, 5, 6, 7.
Good, because that is my girl who's gonna win the whole thing here.
No, wait, there's a couple others. She didn't get no one voted for Sean. And no one voted for 4, 5, 8, 9, 10. Who else? There's a Jervis vote. There's a Sean vote. I don't know. Maybe I'm miscounting.
No, Colleen voted for Sean.
Gretchen, Colleen, Jervis, Jenna, Richard, Sue. Oh, no one. Oh, wait, no. Rudy. So Richard, Rudy, and Sue all got votes. Kelly did not. Sean got a vote. Oh, Sean did not get a vote. Jenna got a vote. Oh, Greg. Okay.
Oh.
We figured it out. Kelly, Sean, and Greg were the only people to not get votes.
Okay. Well, I think Susan, in her voting, she went look at the camera and she said moo.
She said moo. She finally got him. She finally voted for the guy who actually said the thing.
But
or wait.
Oh, did she? I think she did.
Was that
someone else?
That might be the next episode. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, she did say moo though. She did say.
I think it's Jenna, and I think it's when she votes for Jervis.
Probably yeah. Excuse me. But yeah, Gretchen's out. Any thoughts for Gretchen? Do you think she did a good job?
I think Gretchen did a good job at being a survivor. I don't think she did a good job at being a survivor player. I think she was a good, likable player. She was clearly good at like the survival aspect of it. She was able to start a fire without any kind of tools. That's impressive. She was able to get along with even people like BB, so she was really good at the social game. Not that this season really uses the social game much, but she would have been good at it. I think she's a perfectly good, like, middle of the road player who, if she had understood what game she was playing, which, to be fair, only like 3 people seem to, I think she would have done a lot better. And honestly, she should kind of almost view this vote sort of as a compliment, because she was Tagi's first target. They immediately saw her as like the biggest threat on the Pagong Beach.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. A little bit of information about her. So her luxury item she brought to the island was a toothbrush, which is interesting because it reminds me that earlier in the season we saw Greg brushing his teeth, and now I'm wondering if it was her toothbrush.
Oh,
and she was like sharing it.
Oh, Greg. Maybe she doesn't know. Greg took it for sometimes.
I don't know, man. It is interesting.
Is she still alive today?
Yes, yeah, she's
Okay,
fine. The only people who are dead today from this season are the very, very old ones.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, she did pretty well.
Well, Gretchen's final words were, I would hope that it was because they felt I was a threat. Yes. People had a conflict with me and I didn't ever voice it, which I don't think it was injustice. I would hope if somebody had a problem with me, they would just say it. I can hope that, but I wouldn't know because until I watched the show, I can hope that that it was because that I was a threat, and that would make me feel good. You were a threat, Gretchen. If you can hear me, you were.
100%. I am upset. That because I don't like Greg at all. I'm genuinely upset that he will always be the answer to the trivia question, who won the first ever individual immunity challenge in Survivor. That's really upsetting to me, and I didn't realize it until now.
Damn. Yeah. You're right.
That's upsetting. That's genuinely upsetting.
Damn. Well, for the listeners that are listening to us, there's a reason why we hate Greg. I think it's this episode here.
The dude's nuts.
Yeah, episode 8. Thy name is Duplicity. The day started with Sean and the remaining ex-Pagons expressing their disbelief that Gretchen is gone. They were upset. On the other hand, the Tangi Alliance did not have regrets about getting rid of Gretchen since she was a real threat. While fishing, Jenna invited Kelly and Susan to a all-female alliance to get rid of the lazy males. I don't want to say males, just say guys. Through the two were not committed since they were secured with their pact with Richard and Rudy. Mm-hmm. So it is girls run over the world here. Jenna, Kelly, and Sue.
They think that, but they never actually vote that way. Spoilers. So it's really just... I mean, it's good. Jenna is finally starting to actually try to play the game in the way that it is played now. She's trying to form alliances and make pacts.
Yeah.
But it just kind of feels like it's too late.
Maybe they should have done this a long time ago.
They should have. They really, really should have. And there's a conversation because we didn't really talk about it last time.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's this episode that, man, is it this episode or is it the next episode where the episode starts and they're talking about how at the previous tribal council, Jeff had specifically asked Sue if there was an alliance, and she said no.
Right.
Was that this episode? I think it was. I think it was at the previous tribal council. And she said no.
Yes.
So they lied about the idea of having an alliance at that time. But then they come back to the beach, and it seems like Jenna at least knows that that's not true.
She's playing a game, I think.
She's coming out and like trying to actually make an alliance and like, play the field and split things up. Which is really smart on her part, especially, because we're also seeing that Kelly, specifically your girl Kelly, is feeling guilty for some reason about being in an alliance, which I don't necessarily think she should feel guilty for. I think it's a weird thing to lie about. Maybe in this season, just because everyone's like really anti-alliance, it makes sense. But like, as a modern Survivor fan, it seems so weird to actively lie to the entire team when they're going to be on the jury. Like, that's
true.
That's such a weird idea, especially because like, of course there's going to be alliances, and I feel like if you just said we're in an alliance, absolutely, then like, even if they couldn't do anything about it, even if that alliance stays strong and you vote solid the whole time, you're going to hurt their feelings less because you didn't treat them like they were stupid. Like, you just beat them as opposed to mocked them.
Maybe that's her strategy throughout the whole game. Just making everyone confused.
Kelly or Jenna?
Maybe both.
Maybe both.
Well, they're like, we have an alliance. Hunger pains struck hard on Colleen and Kelly, while Rudy and Sue squabbled over food rations. By not letting his tribe down, Richard returned with a full net of fish. However, Greg felt threatened by him. Greg is like, man, Richard's playing a big game. I think Richard thinks he's very clever. He has a lot of things going on his mind. Selectively decides what he will share with whom. So Greg is feeling sus of Richard.
Yeah. Which, to be fair, it's honestly genuinely surprising to me that more people are not like worried about Richard. Because the guy, maybe every second the camera's not on him, he's acting like a kind person. But every second that we see of him on the beach, he's being really weird and like a rude kind of weird. Like, Greg is a crazy kind of weird, and Richard is just being like kind of a dick. Yeah, he's like telling people like, oh, you have to keep me because I'm the only person who can catch fish. Like, no one else can do this. Like, the things that he's saying would not fly in modern Survivor. His ass would have been gone like 3 episodes ago, minimum.
No one likes a dick. No one.
Well,
no one likes
wait until his birthday.
Oh god. Good point. Well, Jervis is like, if we vote off Richard, we won't eat. And I guess I agree, because no one is catching fishes often. Yeah. Richard said, I'm not sure how Greg sees me. I'm trying to figure out whether or not he's trying to build a alliance or pull me in or make me like him in some other way. Meanwhile, Jenna and Colleen noticed that Greg started to act differently, seeing him as more devious, trying to be more strategic. Dude, okay, Greg is on sickle mode. He is off his meds.
What do you mean? What's going on? What's he doing?
Well, Jenna says, I'm seeing Greg in more devious ways. I've seen him before. Since we moved, I saw him change so much, so transparently to me anyway, that my whole attitude changed towards him. This is what Greg said. This is the game. You bring a little... Here it is. This is a big one. And that made me back away from Greg. Okay. He said, "This is the game."
You were not backed away from him already?
I was getting close, like, okay, maybe he's just a funny, stupid guy. But now I'm like, after this comment, no, thank you. He said, "This is the game. You bring this little kitten along. You have your little kitten, and you pet your little kitten, and you enjoy this kitten, and then the kitten sleeps, and with you every night. You're hungry, man. You look right in the kitten's eyes, snap its neck. It's nothing personal. You're hungry. the kitten has to give its life for the next level.
It's just a weird thing to say. It's such a weird way to talk. And he's talking about Colleen. Like, Colleen is the kitten that he's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But the strategy is real. Like, what he's basically talking about is bringing a goat to the final 2 or final 3 with you, which is a strategy that people use all the time. Is they will intentionally grab a person because are you aware how this game ends in terms of like how the like, and I don't mean who wins, but like how the jury works?
Oh no.
Okay, so this will be important. So
okay.
The first person who gets voted off tonight will be the first person to join the jury.
Yes.
At the end of the game, the jury decides who wins. So it'll come down to a final 2, or in Modern Survivor, a final 3, and the jury votes for which of those 2 or 3 is going to take home the money. And that's what makes Survivor really the best reality show that exists.
I see.
Is you have to get rid of these people, and you have to play them. You have to blindside them. You have to lie to them. But you have to be able to do it in a way where at the end of the game, they still want to vote for you to give you $1 million. Like,
that's tough.
That is the game. That is the most difficult part of this game, is that every single season is different, and you never know. You could not go into Survivor with a pre-existing game plan and have any level of success, because your vote at the end is going to depend on what those people value. At the end of the day, do the people on the jury value high strategic play? Do they value loyalty? Do they value physical strength and challenges? Do they value like correctly using advantages, which isn't a thing in this season, but like things like that? It's different. Is it going to be a salty jury who's like really mad? And so you have to get to know the people that you're on the island with and understand. Like, you almost kind of want to vote off people who you think will vote for you. So when you make a friend, you kind of want to get rid of them because you know that they'll give you the money at the end. Like, that's a legitimate strategy. It's that single element of Survivor is what makes it as complex of a game as it is. It's not just outlast everybody and get to the end.
Yeah.
You have to cut everyone's throat and then have them thank you for it. That's Survivor.
That is tough.
So the strategy that Greg is describing here of taking a goat with you to the final makes sense. And it's a thing that people have done before, where you take somebody with you who there's no shot that anybody's going to vote for. Right? So even if you didn't necessarily play the best game, you know that you played a better game than, in this case, Colleen. Right? Yeah. You know that more people see you as a strategist or as a person that they want to give the money to than this other person. And so what he's saying here, is surprisingly, because it's coming from Greg, is like the most forward-thinking strategic thought that may exist up to this point in the game.
God damn.
It's genuinely surprising that this is coming from Greg, but like this is a like a building block that Modern Survivor is built on, is the idea of like sort of building the jury and the final 2, final 3 in your favor.
So you're telling me Greg, who was talking to on a coconut phone, has this strategy?
He has the strategy, and he's not good at it. But he is smart enough to see it, and that's really impressive. Honestly, like this is the one moment. It's a creepy. He is saying it in the creepiest way humanly possible. I want to make that perfectly clear.
Yes,
this is not a normal way to say this strategy. He's calling Colleen his kitty, and he wants to pet his kitty, and then he wants to kill and eat his kitty. Like this analogy stopped being a comfortable thing to listen to like 3 words in, and then it went on for 2 paragraphs. It's weird.
Oh my God.
He's a weird man, but he is right, unfortunately.
Yep. All right, Greg. You are crazy, but you're smart crazy, I guess.
Yeah, it's weird. It's really, really weird, but yeah.
Yeah, well, Kelly said, I see him being a chameleon, changing his colors fit wherever he goes around with. Kelly's seeing his colors. Greg and Richard bonded over a talk along the shoreline, with Greg secretly trying to win over Richard. Richard saw him saw right through him. That night, Greg again tried to charm up Richard to break the Taigi alliance, but it seemed that Richard won't do it. So Richard is smart in this way as well because he knows his plan as well. Greg said, "I think Rich likes to flirt with everybody, and then instead of directly shutting him down, I only played his game back."
Yeah, I don't know. We've never seen Richard really flirt. Like, he seems too socially awkward to flirt, you know?
No.
So I'm not really sure what's going on here, but it's strange.
Jenna thinks Richard finds Greg attractive. Greg is like, oh no, Richard's like, he's a bright guy, but I see him. I see what he's trying to do. If I was Richard, I'll just stay away from him.
Yeah. I think if I was anyone, I wouldn't necessarily want to be particularly close to Greg. But if I was specifically being like targeted by him as like a person that he wanted to be near, I'd be like, what's going on? What's your thought process? Am I in danger? Like, both physically and in terms of getting voted out.
Yeah. Well, now we're in day 23. Been over 3 weeks now. Upon receiving tree mail, most of the tribe complimented to throw the next reward challenge and let Jenna win so she could see a glimpse of her daughters. Later, Jeff made a surprise to the Ratana camp by bringing a crate of holding a television and a VCR where Jeff revealed sneak peeks of their videos from home. First, I want to say, how is that connected?
What do you mean? How's it plugged in?
Yeah.
I'm sure it's hooked up to just some like car battery or something. They got a generator off camera. I don't know.
Maybe.
A couple double A's. It's a CRT. It doesn't take much.
Yeah, true. But the thing is, it was in the box, man. I didn't see any wires behind that.
Movie magic, baby.
All right.
They've actually got all the people who got voted out before on just like a treadmill, and they're like spinning a big hamster wheel. And
Oh no!
Yeah.
No, not Sonia. I don't want her running.
Yeah, she's gonna fall. No. She is gonna fall and bleed again, and Sean is still in the game, so he can't help her.
Ah, damn. I think one of the tapes showed Kelly's boyfriend, and I think Kelly could have done better. I don't know. And then I think we saw Susan's husband. Susan's husband, it reminded me of Peter Griffin a little bit. I don't know why.
You could just say he's fat. I mean, that's rude, but you could say it.
Okay, that. And then Rudy's wife.
But he has a really cute dog. Honestly,
yes,
like,
true.
He picks up the dog and brings it close to the camera, and he's like, "Dog's gonna give you a kiss." And I don't know, for some reason I found that really endearing. I guess just cute dogs do it for me.
All right. Maybe that was Brian with Peter Griffin.
Yeah. Wow. Does that make her Lois? Because I don't like that.
No. Rudy's wife looked like Rudy. I don't know if you see that.
Rudy's wife had the straightest, strictest posture I've ever seen in my life.
Yes.
And I feel like if you stood her next to Rudy, you would assume that they were the inspiration for that famous painting of the farmer and his wife.
Oh, yeah, that one.
Yeah. Because they look like the two most just emotionless stick figure people. Like, they look like they've survived the Great Depression and the Dust Bowl at the same time.
Exactly. Oh, man. Well, here's some sad news here. Sadly, Jeff announced that Jenna's video of her two daughters did not make it on time because causing Jenna to break down. At this point, let Jenna win the whole thing.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, she's
I
crying.
really like Jenna. So the backstory here, because a lot of fans at the time thought that they had like intentionally held the tape back to like create drama. They didn't. The situation was that I forget if it was like her husband or her dad or somebody somebody was like traveling at the time that they got the message to record it, and they just didn't have time to get it out before the challenge aired, and they probably could have delayed it until like a later challenge and had all the tapes there. but they decided to do it early. So you could argue that like they did intentionally not wait until all the tapes were there. But at the same time, it's like, well, Jenna's family missed the deadline, so it is what it is.
Well, she's crying, dude. She is so sad. Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, she was really the only person up to that point that we had seen talk about like missing her family, and then she's also the only person that didn't get a tape. Like, that's brutal.
Tough, especially you're out. I don't have kids, but I'm sure you want to see your kids, you want to see your family.
Oh, of course.
You won't be able to see that. Jeff consoled Jenna by announcing that the second part of the challenge win is that the winner will have a chance to send its own video to their loved ones back home. At the challenge, they have to do this like challenge where you shoot your arrow. Whoever reaches the bullseye will win the challenge.
Yeah, and everyone only gets one shot. It's one arrow, one shot. That's your bag. That's so strange. Some of these challenges in this first season just go by so fast to the point where it doesn't even feel like a competition. Like, it may as well be a rock draw.
Yeah,
like, it's crazy.
At least give them 3 tries.
Give them 3 tries. Get a little bit of pomp and circumstance in there. Like, a lot of, and maybe it's just the way they're shooting it, but a lot of these early challenges just like don't feel as big as challenges feel even one season from now.
I agree. Well, Greg's mark was never beaten by anyone, making him the winner of the challenge and giving him the right to watch his video of his sister, Julie. I do have to say this one thing here.
Yeah. How uncomfortable were you?
Yeah, what am I watching here? Julie is making noises. She is making like baby noises.
Yeah. I don't know. I think insanity runs in bloodlines, it seems.
Yeah.
But she keeps saying stuff like, "You better make Mama proud," and it's like, what's happening?
This is not Resident Evil. What the hell?
And a lot of the other castaways are watching it and are clearly feeling uncomfortable about it.
Yes.
And then Richard's just like, haha, it's funny. And I'm like, okay, well, at least one person's enjoying it. I'm uncomfortable. I'm glad you're not, I guess.
Rudy said, I can't understand a guy talking to his sister that way. It sounded like Greg was talking maybe incest. That's the way I sound to me.
Yeah. I don't know that I really got quite to the point of it, like incest, but I was definitely uncomfortable. Like, it was more just like this family is cracked out of their mind. I
agree. And also, this is on national television. Greg, we see your family.
I almost wonder if she didn't know, like the sister didn't know that it was going to be aired.
Or like public, maybe. But still, what? Yeah. Greg, his rebuttal here, he started laughing. Why make allusions across all the borders and God? What are people going to think? And then sexual allusions for my sister? What's going to happen? All right, Greg.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
All right, let's get into day 24 here. Upon waking up, the tribe noticed Jenna having a better mood than yesterday. Jervis. Before that, while they were watching Julie's tape, Jenna directed her anger by hitting her target after target, and she kind of beat Greg, even though the challenge is over.
I mean, it's a really good shot for her to just like walk back over there when it's for nothing and no one cares, and to take that shot and win. Like, it felt like a movie. It felt like Jenna was the main character for a second.
Yeah, it's her show.
I don't know. I really, really like Jenna, and I feel so bad for her. But honestly, like, if I was in her shoes, I wouldn't have bothered like trying to win that challenge in the first place, because like there's nothing for me. I don't need to. If they can't get a video to me, I'm not sending a video to them. They're together. They're fine. So if I had won that challenge, all I would have been doing was robbing somebody else from getting their video, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I wouldn't do so. Maybe that is what she did, and maybe she went back over there and was just like, "Hey, by the way, like I could have won this easy." You know,
I like that. I like that from Jenna. All right, Jenna. Maybe I should pick Jenna instead of Kelly. I don't know. Well, I'm still sticking with Kelly. She'll win the whole thing. Yeah. So upon waking up, the tribe noticed Jenna having a better mood from yesterday. Jervis deemed Jenna as a threat, being a fellow single parent, while Jenna
so she is single.
Yeah. There we go.
There we go. So she could have made out with Dr. Sean if she wanted to.
She wasn't feeling him. Yeah.
Look, there's worse options on this island, is all I'm saying.
There's Rudy, there's Richard, there's Greg. Well, Greg is smooching with Colleen. I don't know.
Yeah.
Are they still doing it at this time?
They were never actually smooching. They just filmed shots from certain angles so it would look like they were.
That's a good production design.
Yeah.
While Jenna and everyone complained about Jervis' lack of work ethic, knowing that he was on the chopping block due to his laziness, Jervis rattled to win the next immunity challenge. Again, this is the shot of Susan being really close to the camera in this episode, as we said. What else here? Yeah, they're talking about Jervis. Susan says Jervis is not that charming. Trust me, he's a slacker, so he won't be around long. Back at camp, paranoia set in everyone's mind, especially his ex-Pongons, who were clearly in danger because of their lack of numbers. Mm-hmm. With this, they discuss about their future voting plans. Immunity challenge. Pretty much this one was they got a zip line through the forest, right?
Yeah, well, not zip line, because that implies that they're like hanging on the thing and falling. They have a two carabiners and they have to basically hold one in each hand and always be attached to one rope, and those ropes are strung between all of these trees at like hip level.
Yeah.
And it's basically just a maze, but made more complicated by having to be clipped into these, different ropes. And then the challenge of it becomes that like you're also sort of bumping into all the other castaways while you're doing it, and I don't know. This is a challenge that comes back, and I think this is probably the worst rendition of it.
No.
But it's also hard to tell because they just film it really poorly. Like, it's hard to understand what's happening right up until the end. So I don't know.
It's okay because Jervis won that immunity challenge.
He knocked out the park, baby, which is good because the entire conversation leading up to this was like, Jervis is lazy, we got to get rid of him, and he basically saved his ass by winning this. So
absolutely,
you got to respect it.
Yeah,
this is the first clutch win, even though he doesn't know that that's what's happening.
That's true. Also, like, he also won that bug challenge, so he's not.
No, maybe he lost the bug eating challenge. He lost that.
He lost that. Yeah,
Stacy beat his ass.
That is true. Maybe he's not lazy while not playing the games, but
can we talk about it is 2000, so we have to address that it may be a racial thing. That the two people that got called lazy this season were the two black contestants.
Oh,
do you think maybe they weren't actually lazy and it was just people's perceptions of them because of like inbred racism?
I mean, if you say it that way, maybe, yeah.
Like, it makes me wonder because we see both of them have the same arc where people are like, oh, they're lazy, and then they start working, and then magically they start working really hard, like right as people start saying that. Like, I don't know. There's part of it that I don't really buy. Like, it seems too convenient to the stereotype,
I get it. But the thing is, I think the women were like, oh, the men are lazy, so that's maybe a cover of that racial
maybe
bias.
Yeah. I don't think it's the show doing it, to be clear. I don't think the production was like, let's make these black people look lazy. I think it's I genuinely think at least some of these people are like not maliciously racist, but like subconsciously racist.
Maybe. I'm sure Rudy
for sure, dude. 100% Rudy.
Yeah, it's a good point though. Good point. Well, now people are, after the challenge, people are doubting others about their motives. They don't know who's going to vote for who. I think at one part, Kelly said, I keep telling myself, well, I have enough friends. I didn't come here to make friends. And da 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 da. And the truth is, I like these people.
Yeah.
Yeah, after being on the beach for 24 days, I'm sure you are accustomed to like everyone now. Except for Greg.
Although they seem to like Greg. I don't know. It's weird.
I think they tolerate Greg. I think that's what it is.
Yeah. That would make sense, actually.
All right, we're at the tribal council. Jeff reminded that the castaways that everyone voted out from now on would become a member of the jury, as you said. The 7-person jury will decide of which of the final 2 members will win the challenge of $1 million. Jeff asked about both Sue and Kelly, as we mentioned here, about if there's an alliance. Mm-hmm. They both dodged the question and said they simply voted out people they don't like. All right. Jervis, Colleen, and Greg cast their vote for Jenna, but the rest of the tribe had a different target in mind, Greg. By a 6-3 vote, Greg got the boot. He pretended to sob as he brought his torch to Jeff, which was very strange. Yeah,
it made me genuinely uncomfortable to watch.
Yeah.
But not in like a I feel bad for him sort of way, but in like a is this man going to snap and hurt somebody kind of way.
Exactly.
So
Rudy thought he was actually crying for a moment. But yeah.
Rudy doesn't seem like he has a lot of experience with emotion and probably can't tell the difference between real and fake emotion.
Exactly. But yes, Greg is out. Your thoughts on Greg?
I don't like him. I think that in the real world, maybe he's a nicer guy.
Sure.
But he's just so I could not imagine living on that beach with him. I think I would lose my mind having to deal with him in his coconut phone nonsense constantly. And to that point, production hated Greg.
Really?
Actively. Oh yeah. Oh, big time, dude.
Oh no.
So he would do that coconut phone bit like during tribal council, and it would go on for like 10-15 minutes. And he would just basically burn film because nothing's happening, nothing worthwhile is being filmed, so it's just wasting everybody's time and production time, money. And he also didn't want to compete. He was there literally just for a vacation. He didn't really care about the money. He was just there to have fun and like relax on a beach, which you can kind of get the vibe of from the first couple episodes. But a lot of his actions are like he resents being on this show, which as someone who wants to be on the show is like a little offensive to me, honestly.
What's his spot?
Yeah. I mean, back then, everyone on this season and probably the first 2 or 3 seasons even are largely going to be people who were cast. Like it's not, people who applied. You probably went to like a central casting or like put out some kind of call for people. And then this is what you get. So like you're going to end up with people who don't really know what's going on or like why they're here, but like have different reasons for why they're there other than just like wanting to play the game, which is fair.
Yeah.
Greg, however, seemed to actively resent being on a television program. There are multiple stories that have come out afterwards of like he would find microphones that production had hidden around in order to record them, and he would take the machete and hack them to pieces.
Oh.
He would wear his microphone and battery pack into the ocean and destroy it intentionally, and then pretend that he wasn't doing it and that he was like, "Oh, I forgot that I was wearing it." Whenever production set up a camera to do like a time lapse, he would walk over to it and take his pants off. So he just had his dick out in front of the camera so he couldn't use the footage. And he would stand there for like 30 minutes. So you couldn't just like cut around it even. He was a nightmare for production. Oh. And coincidentally, he doesn't come back.
I'm glad.
And then you look at some of the other stuff that he's done post-Survivor, and it sounds like it's a different human being. Like, listen to this, right? First of all, his luxury item was a Frisbee, which I guess that fits. But after Survivor, he became a fashion model.
Oh.
He worked as a fashion model, and he was signed with, get this, Trump Model Management, as in now President Donald MFing Trump.
What?
Yeah, this man worked for Satan. But then, summon the image of Greg and his insanity. Greg received an MSc in ecology from Colorado State University and found Pioneer Green Energy, a renewable energy development company. The dude's a CEO of an energy company.
Wow.
He's on a beach talking into a coconut, and then he comes home and he starts a free energy company.
Maybe that was his enlightenment when he was on the beach.
I don't have an answer for you. The man's insane.
Well, all right,
and
Greg.
On top of that, not only is he answer to the trivia question, who was the first person to ever win an individual immunity, he's also the answer to the trivia question, who was the first person to ever sit on the jury.
Oh.
And he is a person who Survivor production hates.
They have to wait. They cannot get rid of him.
He's in the history book. He is too important statistically to things that had happened in the show to ever just like blacklist him.
I don't want to get further ahead, but when he gets into the jury, the sitting spots, he looked very serious. Like
yeah.
Serious.
I think it's an act. We'll see later, but he doesn't maintain that.
Okay. Yeah, he's a little creepy there. But at the end of the show, end of the episode here, he became Gollum for a bit. In his final words, he said, "I trust a fate that maybe some didn't expect, and some did. An excellent game, well manufactured. I harbor no resentment for any of you who voted for me, against me or otherwise. I feel like it's probably a pretty darn good time. Thanks, guys."
I mean, at least he's a gracious loser, and I really appreciate that about him, because he feels like the kind of person who could have just like fully snapped on the way out the door. So absolutely. I'm glad that didn't happen.
Whew. Well, he's gonna be in the jury, and he is stoked to be there. Episode 9.
Episode 9.
Old and New Bonds, day 25. All right, here we go, guys.
Before we start here, I want to ask you. We are now officially halfway through the show in terms of people being voted out. We're at the final half of the show. How are you feeling about these contestants? Are you still feeling good about your Kelly vote? Are you still hating the same people and liking the same people? How are you liking the show so far?
I feel good.
Okay.
I feel like I don't think the men will win the season.
Okay.
They seem, besides Richard, I think everyone seems to like not as important. But I feel like the women are more important than the men here in this season.
You mean in terms of like how they're portrayed in the edit, or
yeah?
Okay.
As it's shown on TV, because I think the men don't get that glimpse of like being a good person. Maybe the only exception is Richard, because he gets the food for people, and
he gets the food. He gets a lot of confessionals. Yeah.
Besides him, I think everyone else is like, eh. But I feel like a woman should win this season.
Okay.
I don't know if it's Kelly.
You still okay? So you don't necessarily think it's Kelly.
I still, that is my pick, but at this point,
so you're maintaining Kelly as your pick for winning.
She is my Kelly throughout my life. But,
obviously, you already know the person who gets voted out in episode 9 because you've already watched it.
Yes.
So, like, you know it's not that person. But
it's not that person. But yes, I still think Kelly is the main person who's going to be the winner. But I'm feeling half and half right now. It might be anybody.
Okay.
If it's Richard,
yeah,
get me off this island.
Well, the show will be over at that point. So.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yes. Episode 9, Old and New Bonds, day 25. On day 25, Richard and Sue celebrated their position in the game. Kelly in the Tiger tribe started to waver. The remaining Pagans felt disgusted for lying in the tribal council because they said, there's no alliances. So Kelly's feeling
Yeah. So I actually jumped the
guilty.
gun on that one.
Yeah.
This is the episode where they talk about that and where the women's alliance starts to like become a thing that they're talking about.
Yeah. Kelly said this whole alliance thing is getting too stupid and too crazy. If we stick with it, it's just lining limbs to the slaughter. Who goes next? Who goes? That makes sense. If there's an alliance, they're all gonna go one by one. Meanwhile, while Richard was away fishing, Rudy, Jervis, and Sean started to notice that Richard may have a good position in the game by being the tribal's provider. In a confessional, Sean realized that Richard might use his fishing skills as his clutch so that the tribe keeps him longer and don't vote him out. But Richard said...
He's literally said that in multiple tribal councils. Yeah. At least since week 2, because I remember specifically him holding that stupid shell that they used for one episode of like, you can only talk when you have the talking stick or whatever. Which also Jeff Probst hate.
Yeah.
I remember him specifically like taking it and be like, I get the fish, don't vote me out. And I think he said it at least once, maybe 2 other times. It seems like that's a large part of his strategy is like just be the provider.
Yeah.
And in early Survivor, like that works. But looking at it from modern Survivor, it's like just get rid of his ass. Like someone else can catch fish. Like you have all the tools and you have rice if you don't.
Yeah. I think that they got too comfortable with Richard giving them the food. They're like,
yeah.
Again, with the laziness. Maybe the girls are saying the guys are lazy. Maybe, I don't want to say they were lazy because they were also trying to get fish. And we see that in this episode as well. But not as often as Richard. And that's why they got too comfortable. But we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. Later, Colleen felt uncomfortable when Richard started to prepare the fish for cooking. She doesn't like her food to be killed, but she likes to eat them.
She just doesn't want to watch it be killed, which I think is fair.
Yeah, same. While cooking the food, Richard got irritated when Rudy cooked their food with the most of their catch in either becoming half-cooked or overcooked. And for revenge, Richard decided to stop fishing for a while so that the tribe mates can fully appreciate his contributions to the camp. Richard's laying down the law.
Yeah, it almost makes me like upset how comfortable Richard is. Like he throws out this line where he's like, "Oh, they think they're not voting me out because I'm providing for them, but they're not. But actually, they're not voting me out because I'm not letting them." And it's like, what are you talking about? If one person from your alliance voted differently, you would be gone. Mm-hmm. Like even right now, there's 8 people in the game. You don't have control yet. Like you even if your alliance votes one way and the other 4 vote another way, all you can do is tie. Like you can't be this comfortable yet. You need to get at least one more person, and you need to be checking on your people because we know that Kelly's uncomfortable. We know that Rudy is like slightly uncomfortable with having an alliance and is just voting with Richard because it's easy. We know that Sue doesn't like Richard. Like all 3 members of your alliance are only there for like convenience. It would be very easy, looking at it from a modern Survivor mindset, to switch any of those people to a decision. Especially if you went up to Sue and you were like, "Hey Sue, Richard is the most dangerous person in this game right now," which he may or may not be. We should get together and vote him out. Sue would do that. Sue would do that in a heartbeat. If you tell Sue Richard is your number 1 threat for not getting $1 million, she's getting rid of his ass. Yeah. I promise you that.
Yeah, Richard's too cocky right now.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't care for it.
Even Colleen said it. Colleen's vented her feelings in a confessional, stating that Richard should stop being a know-it-all or a dick. With much of the fish wasted and Richard still bitter about the wasted fish, Jenna, Colleen, Sue, and Kelly decided to catch their own fish And then, a surprise, they got a huge one. Upon going back to the camp, the guys, including Richard, were speechless with the women's catching their fish. They got I don't think it's what's a slander? Not a salmon. It was like
Salmon?
Salmon, excuse me. Salmon. It wasn't a salmon, but it was like a gray fish. I don't know what you call them.
Parrotfish.
There you go.
That's what he said.
They got big parrotfish there. And it was juicy too. Or thick. Yeah, all the girls were happy there. Day 26. Sean finds information at Tree Mail about the upcoming reward challenge. The remaining members of the Ratana met Jeff in the middle of the jungle for their next challenge, where Jeff first revealed the prize, a barbecue feast with letters from home. Before the mechanics of the challenge itself, Jeff also revealed that to Jenna that her letter from home made it on time and made her happy. Finally,
her family was able to get something done for her.
Okay, this challenge. What was this challenge again?
They had to like run to these stations, but they were on top of like a weird spider web.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. Let me just read the description straight from the site here. It's called Out on a Limb. So the castaways have to collect these medallions that are out on the ends of a spider web course. And each of the medallions have a castaway's number on it. And you have to get you have to get 16 medallions, which feels like way too many to film in a way that's interesting. If at any point you fall off the spider web, apparently you're eliminated from the challenge, which I didn't realize while watching it. So, yeah.
Okay.
But either way, it's Colleen who wins. She's able to run on this spider web and get all the things. Oh, to be fair, she only beats Jenna by like a second, and it's mostly because she takes a last second leap at Jeff Probst, and he like, it's really funny. She like dives because she knows that Jenna's like right on her tail. And Jeff Probst is standing for some reason in the middle where they have to get to at the end, and he sees Colleen coming, and he like, ooh, and he like dips out at the last second. Like, and Colleen does not seem to care. Like she was about to truck into this dude, no problem. She was about to form tackle Jeff Probst.
She was like Derrick Henry running through those players.
She was going to Derrick Henry, Jeff Probst into the sand of Borneo.
So she won. Jeff then revealed that she can choose one tribe mate to join her with a reward with no hesitation. I'm glad she did it. She picked Jenna.
It's the obvious choice. This is a good strategic move, but it's not. Colleen didn't do it strategically. I think she did it just purely out of the for exactly the reason she says, which is because she didn't get her video. So it's like I think Colleen just did it to be kind.
Yes.
But it would also have been a really good strategic play because it's like, it's hard for other people to get mad at you for it because there's a very good reason to do it. And then also giving that to Jenna when she so clearly needs something from her family is going to lock her in as an ally for you.
Absolutely.
So it works.
You gotta have kindness in your heart.
Yeah.
Imagine she didn't pick Jenna. She'll probably get kicked out.
I don't even know who else she would pick. Like the only other person that she seemed to have gotten along with was Greg, and he's gone now. So.
Oh yeah, maybe Rudy. Maybe she likes Rudy now.
I doubt it. I think Rudy hates her. I know that.
Yeah. After the challenge, Jenna and Colleen enjoyed the barbecue that Jeff cooked himself. Okay, Jeff, you can cook. While the scene was constantly changing from the barbecue feast back to the Ratana camp, where the other tribe members were eating rice. During the feast, Jenna and Colleen discuss about their mysterious 4 votes that eliminated their former Paragon comrades, Greg and Gretchen. After talking a lot, they decided to make a counter alliance, named the Barbecue Alliance. Great name. By bringing Jervis and maybe another Tangy outsider Sean to potentially break Richard's pact. Good. After the feast, Jeff handed them their letters from home, making Jenna extremely happy since she hadn't received any news from them, adding up to the failure of having her own tape in the last episode. Jenna cried while she was reading the letters from her daughters. I noticed that Jeff has a sunburn.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah, you can see throughout the season that there's a couple people who get what seem to be pretty bad sunburns. There's something going on Jenna's forehead that I'm not really sure if that's a sunburn. I don't know what that is. Greg, before he's gone's got something going on his ear.
Yeah.
Like, it seems like they're not doing as good a job as they do in Modern Survivor of, like, not health care, I guess, but just, like...
Mm-hmm. The dermatology, they got to check
care
that
of
out.
The people.
Yeah, maybe they should have brought. Who brought a shampoo? They should have brought
Joel.
Joel.
Yeah.
They should have used Joel's shampoo.
Good nerd.
Yeah. Day 27. Oh man, we are almost 4 weeks in here. Back at Rotana Camp, the remaining members greeted Richard for his 39th birthday. To celebrate, Richard decided to take all of his garments out, all of his clothes out, and walked around the camp naked.
He spent his birthday in his birthday suit, baby.
Yeah. Despite an outcry from Colleen and Jenna, Richard kept his promise and remained naked for most of the morning.
Yeah, Colleen is clearly uncomfortable with it. Jenna is clearly uncomfortable with it. Rudy is uncomfortable with it, but he doesn't seem to care that much. Sean is uncomfortable. Like, at least half of the people sitting on that beach are vocally uncomfortable with him getting naked, and he does not care. Like, that would not fly today. That would not fly even, 8 seasons from here. Like, you cannot be doing that. Like, I get that we're on an island, but you can't just walk around naked. Like, people didn't agree to that, and if they're not okay with it, then you have to put your pants back on, dude.
I get it if you're on an island. Maybe if you're alone, you could do it all the time. But there's other people there, and you're playing a game. Come on. And there's cameras on. I guess he doesn't care.
Not at all.
I think Rudy said, when I go home, my wife asked me about, well, who was with you? I'll say a Q word that ran around bare ass half of the time for the one thing. So again, Rudy.
He's from a different time.
Yeah.
A worse time. Although, I don't know, today's time is not that great, it turns out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. True.
So,
Imagine the president Survivor. Do you think he will survive?
do you mean specifically Trump, or do you mean the president at the time that this show was airing?
Maybe both.
Well, hold on. Let me Google real fast who the president in 2000 was. I'm pretty sure it was Bush.
I'm sure it was Bush. I think the election was in November.
No, it was still Bill Clinton.
Bush. Yeah, Bill Clinton.
It was still Bill Clinton.
Bill Clinton.
Bill Clinton would have done fine. He's a social threat. He's able to get Monica Lewinsky's vote on his side. So I think he would do okay. Trump would be dog shit because everyone would hate him, and he would constantly be like, I've got the best coconuts. I'm gonna win. All of you are going to give me a small loan of $1 million. And everyone, his ass would be gone so fast. I would personally see to it to vote his ass off the island. Actually, you know what? No, I wouldn't. I would drag him until right before the final 3, and I would vote him out just before anyone could possibly vote for him, just so that he would have to starve and suffer for the extra 30 however many days. Because fuck him. What a douchebag.
Also, he's outside of China, so I don't think he'll like that.
The South Sea of China.
China.
What a douchebag.
Also, he'll turn like burnt because he was already orange, and
he's already orange. He's coming off this island maroon.
Oh goodness. Well, Colleen and Jenna then tried to persuade Jervis and Sean to get rid of the Tangy Alliance. Jervis was in the plan, while Sean declared that he doesn't need it and he will stick to his, as we mentioned, his alphabet strategy. So his strategy is
This is the official
Whoever-
reveal.
whoever his next letter is, whoever has that letter in their name will be voted off.
Yeah.
According to him.
So he's just voting alphabetically. So I think the first one he would have done it for, I think it was the one where it was like 4 people and then 1 because on that one he voted for Colleen, which would be like number 1. And then he voted Greg, G, and now he's down to Jenna. Yeah. Yeah. So like he just fully tells everyone in the camp before tribal council, like, well, I'm gonna vote for Jenna. And everyone's like, bet. Yeah.
I mean, their reasons was like, oh, she gotta meet her kids again. But I'd rather, if I was Jenna, I would try to win the $1 million to show my kids, like, hey, I did this for you guys. Not like leave midway.
And also the thing of like, oh, she's getting voted off so she can get back to her kids sooner. That's not true. You go to Ponderosa and you sit in a hotel basically for the rest of the airtime. The only difference is now you've lost your chance at $1 million. Like, you're still gone the whole time. They know that. Like, they should know that. Whatever.
They think they're doing a service for her, but no.
They're just lying to themselves or the TV, one or the other.
Also, they didn't have FaceTime or Skype, so she wouldn't meet her kids anyways if she was out.
I don't know if she'd even be allowed to call them, genuinely, because she could tell them something about what happened on the show.
Yeah.
And like that would break NDA. So I don't know. I genuinely do not know if they would even let her do that.
Bad plan. Sean said, I think it adds a new dimension to the game of me going alphabetically. No, it does not.
Yeah, well, it does to an extent.
Sure.
It basically means that anyone with half a brain can use your vote against whoever you're voting for. Like, that's what happens tonight. Spoilers, I guess. But like, they go, well, there's 4 people in this alliance and 1 idiot who just told us who he's going to vote for. If we vote with that person, we can have the majority no matter what happens. And that's exactly what they do.
Yeah. I did like what Jervis said here. Kind of rhymed here. Sean, I like Sean. Sean's a great guy, but Sean's alphabetical order is like a granddaddy used to say, if you want to be seen, stand up. If you want to be heard, speak up. If you want to be appreciated, shut up. Pretty good.
There's some people that I know from work who need to learn those 3 tenets of being a good person. Mostly the third one.
Yeah. At the Survivor Mental Challenge, Rudy outsmarted everyone, securing his spot in the final 7. I didn't get this mental challenge. They're just flipping tiles.
Yeah, so they get put on this grid where it's just a series of tiles and everyone starts kind of equidistant from each other. Mm-hmm. And every turn, you have to flip the tile you're on and step to a new one. And if at any point you've gotten boxed in to where you cannot step to another tile, then you get voted out. So or you don't get voted out. You lose the game and somebody else. You don't get eliminated from the entire game, just the challenge. But so the game is strategic in nature. You have to think as many steps ahead and try and predict what the other people are going to do so that you can try and make sure that there are enough, remaining tiles for you to step on at all times. But really the only person that we see make a strategic step in this is Sean, and he does it to knock out Jenna. So I don't know. And he also does it in a way to like not block Rudy when Rudy very clearly has the most tiles ahead of him. If Sean had and Jervis is telling him, Jervis is like, take that step and you'll win. And Jervis is right, and Sean's too stupid to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really know why Sean's helping, or why Jervis is helping Sean, but I know even less why Sean didn't take his advice.
I don't know. He's sticking with his alphabets there.
He's just really, really bad at like gameplay.
He should improve on that.
Wow.
Too late. Because after the challenge, Jenna, Colleen, and Kelly were goofing around, and the Togate Alliance were wary of Kelly's allegiance. The remaining Polygon members decided to vote together and see if they would change their fate in the game. Yeah, so the alliances are there. We don't know who's picking who. But let's get into the tribal council. At tribal council, Jeff greeted Rich for his birthday. Colleen's alliance failed with only 3 votes against Rich, while the 3 Tangi alliance members voted for Jenna. In the end, it was Sean's alphabetical voting strategy which became the deciding vote of the 4-3-1 decision to get Lewis to be out of the island. Jenna's gone.
It's unfortunate because Jenna is. I mean, I understand why they voted her out. Is because the same reason why I'm disappointed that she got voted out. Is she was one of the only people who started playing the game, and she started playing it too late. And then Sean's really bad strategy of not really having a strategy, and then also telling people you're not strategy so that they can use it against you. Really, just screwed her. Like she just at that point. She tried. I'm sure she tried her best. She was talking to the other women and trying to swing them, but it just it didn't come together. And it's unfortunate. It really is.
Jenna was a good player throughout this whole thing, but stupid Sean, man. I feel like if Sean voted without his strategy, maybe he would have voted for Richard. He didn't like Richard, right? I remember.
Sean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you could convince him to vote for the person who got naked. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that would have been pretty easy, actually.
Yeah, well, final words for Jenna. Well, I had a good time. It was a great time on the island. I felt like I feel like I was targeted tonight because they knew that Sean would vote for me alphabetically.
That's exactly why. Yeah.
So they knew they'd get off easy with me. They were more powerful because Polygon went into a little naive. So that's it. I had a great time. No hard feelings. Nothing's taken personally. We will miss Jenna. She was I want to say the best part, but she had the most emotional scene in this whole season so far.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yes. Any news on Jenna?
Yeah. So that's what I was kind of pulling up just here. There's some interesting things. One of them I don't know if I should share. Maybe I'll tell you off camera.
Is it too naughty?
It's a little naughty. But she so she starred in a 2005 television horror movie called The Scorned. That's not the naughty one. It looks awful, but she did it.
Okay, she's an actress.
Yeah, I guess technically, I mean, it's a TV movie, and it, when I go to the site here for it, there's really nothing about it. So it clearly did not do well, unfortunately. She also, it looks like she has 5 acting credits actually. Oh, so she was, and The Scorned was the 4th thing that she did. But I don't recognize any of the other things. And weirdly, Survivor is not on there as one of the. That's weird. Anyway, she also appeared in an Eminem music video. She was in the music video Without Me.
Okay.
Which is the one where he dresses up as Robin.
Yeah.
And in it, her, Eminem, and a castaway from Survivor Africa briefly have what appears to be a Survivor challenge where they're doing a log rolling, but they're on a poop. They're on a poop in a toilet. The log is a poop. Yeah. Anyway, let's see. Her luxury item was a journal, so she's the second person to have brought one of those.
That's good. Did she bring a pen at least?
It doesn't specify, so it's hard to know. And then a lot of these other ones are from when she returns. She does play this game again.
Okay, that's good. Well, might see her again.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was For this episode, we just covered 7 through 9. And next week, next time you see us, we'll cover 10 through 12. And then after that, it'll be the final episode of Survivor Season 1. So feeling Kelly here. When you watched the first episode, when you first watched this first season, did you have any predictions when you were a kid?
It's really hard for me to remember at this point because it was so long ago. I think, I don't know. I feel like I liked Sue. I think that's probably what it was. I don't know if I necessarily thought she was going to win, but I also would have been, 6 at the time the show was airing? So my thoughts were probably mostly just like, oh, they fell over. Haha. Yeah. So I don't know.
We'll see. Well, we only have 2 more episodes for this rewatch. I'm feeling a little sad because I am enjoying Survivor. I like it. It's good. It's a good show.
We got them. And this isn't even like half the game, really. Like, there's not even any advantages in it yet.
Oh, absolutely not. But, and Daniel, where can they find you, man?
You can find me on Twitter at DanielJMcG or on my personal YouTube channel, Daniel McG.
Sounds good. And you can follow this podcast on Spotify, YouTube, Music, Apple, or something. Oh, I'm in TikTok and Instagram. I'm also just follow me there.
Yes,
I got nothing else to say other than that. I want to say that, Greg, you are a crazy fellow. That's it. You're a crazy man.